They came on a Tuesday. I remember because I had just fixed the leak under the kitchen sink, the one my father never got around to fixing before he died. I wiped my hands on a rag, heard the knock, and opened the door to 3 men in suits holding papers. Eminent domain. That was the word they used. The city needed the land for a transit corridor. My house, my father's house, my grandfather's house, gone in a signature. They gave me 60 days and a check that wouldn't cover rent in the same neighborhood for 6 months. I took the check. I had no choice. I moved into a studio apartment 12 blocks away and watched from the window as they tore the house down. The oak tree my grandfather planted in 1959 went through a wood chipper on a Wednesday morning. I counted the rings in a stump photo I found online. 67 years. Gone in 4 minutes. But here is what they didn't account for. I was an electrician. 30 years of work, every permit pulled clean, every inspection passed. And I knew every building those 3 men in suits owned. I had wired half of them. I didn't break any laws. I want to be clear about that. What I did was become very organized. I filed public records requests. I attended zoning meetings. I learned the name of every investor tied to that transit corridor project. And I found what I suspected I would find, the routing of that corridor was not random. It had been shifted 2 blocks east 18 months before the announcement. Shifted away from a parking structure one of those men owned, and directly through my neighborhood instead. I brought the documents to a reporter at the local paper. She spent 4 months verifying everything. When the story ran, it ran on a Sunday. By Thursday, 2 of the 3 men had resigned from the Transit Authority Board. The third was under investigation. The project was paused pending an independent review. They didn't give me my house back. The land was already graded, already poured over with concrete footings. That oak tree was already ash. But the corridor was rerouted again. The neighborhood 2 blocks east, the one they had originally protected, it lost a parking structure. And the Transit Authority was required to establish a community displacement fund. First disbursement went to 11 families who had been pushed out the same year I was. I didn't get rich. I didn't get revenge in any clean movie sense of the word. What I got was this: those men built their futures on the assumption that people like me would simply move on. I didn't move on. And now, neither did they.